Hey, what is going on, guys? This is TheWalkthroughKing, and today I've got a pretty interesting video for you guys with the recent news of Classified being the fourth on-launch map of Black Ops 4, as well as it being greatly hinted at being either a complete remaster of 5 or even a remake. I decided I wanted to go back and take a look back at all of the Easter eggs back in the original 5 map. I know a lot of the newer Zombies players didn't get a chance to play these maps back when they came out, and with how many maps there are out right now, it is a bit overwhelming to go back and try and play all of the original maps. So not only will this be a nostalgic trip for those who did get to play this map back in the day, this also could be a great introduction to those who also did not get to play this map. So without further ado, let's take a look at 5. Starting out, I wanted to check out the bigger Easter eggs and secrets before we moved on to the smaller things that don't really have anything to do with the main story. As most of you probably already know, this map did not have a main Easter egg quest, so all the Easter eggs and secrets are pretty much just a bunch of pictures and different things that are scattered throughout the map. Basically, just a bunch of lore was added to this map for us to find. Of the list of things that I made for secrets and Easter eggs in the map, the biggest thing that I'm going to start out with right now is that there is a portrait of Richtofen and the blank portrait that we have saw from Kino Derto and inside the panic room. Now at the time we did not have the timeline, so it was a lot of speculation behind everything that was going on, but one thing that we did know was because of the portrait of Richtofen and the blank portrait, theories were going around that Richtofen had been here before, as well as whoever was in the blank portrait. During this time we did not have a lot of names, so Maxis was one of the people that a lot of people thought could have been behind the blank portrait. And interestingly enough, there was actually a third portrait on this map as well that can only be seen if you use no clip and go through the door that is in between both portraits. The portrait that can be seen behind the door is a picture of Dempsey for some reason. Then to the right of that is a picture referencing previous work that the Call of Duty team did. Now at the time when we saw this picture of Dempsey, it gave us quite an insight into the lore of things and what was to come. However, at the time of this map, we had no idea what was going on, as we needed to see Ascension in order to figure out a few things. And this ties into the red phones that we can see around the map, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. Moving on into the basement, we could see there's a piece of the mainframe of one of the teleporters that were in Der Riese. Now this kind of explains why the Richtofen portrait is inside the panic room, as we can kind of put together that Richtofen and whoever was in the blank portrait at one point visited the Pentagon. Now we weren't sure what went down at the time and why they visited the Pentagon, but in the same room on the table there is a deconstructed ray gun. So these parts basically pointed to Richtofen and whoever was in the blank portrait working together with the Americans in some way. There was also a Winter's Howl that could be seen being constructed in one of the other rooms in the basement on a table. At the time we had assumed that they had helped them create their own wonder weapon, and what was created was the Winter's Howl. One of the last two big things that I wanted to talk about that I considered the main lore behind this map, one of the things I brought up earlier, and that there are 3 red phones around the map. Now these phones, originally we just thought they were for activating the Easter egg song, which was an Eminem song for this map. However, as I was referring to, once Ascension came out, we realized that these phones were connected to the Ascension map, and that the characters on 5 called into Ascension, and you could pick up the phones on Ascension and hear the 5 characters. This basically confirmed to us at the time that these maps were taking place at the exact same time. We had no idea why at the time, we had no idea what connected these besides the phones, but that was just a huge revelation at the time, and I wanted to throw that in. The last big thing that I wanted to bring up, and it's not so much a huge thing anymore because of the timeline and everything of that, but there was a bunch of 115 canisters in the basement that can be seen behind a bunch of windows. And these basically told us at the time that the Americans were experimenting with the 115 gas as well. And when we reach the basement levels and the Nova crawlers start coming after us, that is where they came from. So those were the bigger points of lore and Easter eggs and secrets in this map. I tried to go through things in the perspective of being back when this map had first came out. I know a lot of the things have been explained since then with the timeline and all the information that we have to date. but I thought it would be cool to look back with a view of how we saw things at the time. Anyways, I wanted to also talk about a few of the side and little Easter eggs that were in this map, as well as go into a few secrets that not many people may have known, then wrap things up with talking about how classified could be, and a few theories on how that map is going to play out. Starting out, the Wonderwaft, the Flamethrower, and the Thundergun were actually supposed to be in this map and usable weapons. At some point in time, they were scrapped though. However, we do know for sure that these guns were supposed to appear at one point in this map because there are some leftover audio quotes in the game files where the presidents reference using these guns and getting kills with them. Speaking of cut quotes, we also know that Hellhounds were also supposed to appear in this map, but at some point Treyarch ended up scrapping this. I'm assuming it is because of the special infected round with Gersh and they didn't want to add in too much into the map. Another cool secret is inside the hallway. There are a bunch of picture frames and they have different developers on them as well as different references to missions that were in World at War. Checking out one of the podiums at spawn, there is a piece of paper that says Ignomo Jubileus. I may have mispronounced how that is said. However, that is translated to laughable mistake. Not really sure why this was here, but it is a cool little secret. Another cool secret in spawn is behind one of the walls in the hallway. There are TVs that have images from Operation 40, one of the campaign missions, as well as a rocket on the table, and this rocket basically represented Ascension and was foreshadowing Ascension being the first DLC. Going inside the panic room, we can see on one of the chairs there is a magazine that says Exposed on the front. Now this secret was only found by people who were able to no-clip or find the direct image files inside the game files. As we can see on the back of the magazine, there was a cosmic silverback and it says what the hell is this? So it's a nice nod to Dead Ops Arcade. Another secret that only people with no-clip could see is that the box actually had a light. However, because of the map being indoors, you were not able to see the light from everywhere, so that's why Treyarch ended up adding in the TV monitors with the box position. Still a cool little secret though. This is another secret of one of the map changes that were made before the map even came out. When you load into the Zombies menu and you see the TVs playing all the Zombies images, one of the TVs shows that the Quick Revive machine was actually in the hallway where Speed Cola is. And finally, in the panic room, we can see there is a portrait on the wall that is signaling Black Ops 3's Forest. I'm just kidding, this one has nothing to do with Black Ops 3, this is probably just some random portrait they threw on the wall, but it is kind of funny and looks like a really crappy version of the Black Ops 3 forest that we see in the loading screens and at the menu. Anyways, that was a look back at some of the secrets and Easter eggs that were in 5 Zombies. There are a few more things that I did not cover, but they're just small little things like the Treyarch logo in different places. If I did miss anything major, let me know though. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Now to close out, I'm going to give a few thoughts on Classified Zombies. For Classified, I would actually prefer if they ended up doing a complete remake, as I did not really enjoy 5's layout as much as I did other Zombies layouts. However, either or I would be fine with. It will be interesting to see what the Ultimus crew will do on this map. A lot of people are speculating that Richtofen won't be in the group and that it'll be the Ultimus group with somebody else like Gersh, which would kind of make sense as the portraits we saw earlier in this video kind of show that Richtofen and whoever else was there did end up visiting the Pentagon, so we might end up coming here with Gersh or whoever the blank portrait is supposed to be. And that would actually be a pretty interesting take, although since this is the first time we are seeing Ultimus since all the way back to Moon, I would actually prefer if the whole crew was there, so we got Richtofen as well. But that's just me. Some of the newer Zombies fans might not care as much as I do about that, but since I've been playing since World at War, I would love to see the OG crew make a comeback. I would like to see them do a few throwbacks, like maybe even throwing some of the Black Ops 4 developers up where the Black Ops 1 developers were up in the hallway from that secret that we saw earlier. In fact, I would love to see a picture of Jason Blundell hidden somewhere around the map. Treyarch, you gotta make that happen. Like, if this does turn out to just be a remaster with some minor changes, like how the Giant just had snow added to it, but it was still the exact same Der Riese, basically, I would love to see them take the old Easter eggs and secrets, like a lot of the ones we talked about, and modernize them and throw them back into this map. maybe even having all of the scrap features that they were going to put into this map make a debut and see their first time in this map as they were intended, like the Wonderwaff and the Flamethrower and the Thunder Gun being in the box, along with if the Winter's Howl is put back into this map. Treyarch, you gotta buff it. It wasn't the best wonder weapon. It's gotta be made better. It's gotta have some sort of change to it. Anyways, this video has gone on long enough. I'm gonna wrap it up here. At some point, I will be doing a more in-depth theory video on how I think Classified will be, as well as what features I would like to see on them and just the layout of the map and how that needs to change. I hope this video was a nostalgic trip for those who did end up playing 5 back in the day, and for those who'd never played 5 and never really seen a lot of it, I hope this was informative for you as well, and gave you some insight as to how things were back in the day. I have a series that I'm going to start soon that is going to be similar to how this video was done, except with a lot of community interaction behind it. More details on that will be posted soon. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button. And until the next time, as always, I am the TheWalkthroughKing, and I hope to see you guys at the next one.